Guess what time it is? It is time to talk about moolah, and specifically how much money you can make working online as a content writer or as a copywriter here in Kenya and Africa in general. Because let's be honest, money is the reason why we wake up early in the morning. It's the reason we grind so hard, and perhaps the reason why you're here today, tuned in to figure out, okay, as a content writer, as a copywriter here in Kenya, how much money are we looking at? How much money am I going to make? So in this video, I'm going to take you through that. I'm going to show you how much content writers are charging so that you have a rough idea. Ukiruka ndani, you know what to expect, how much money you're going to bag, and basically how much money you're looking at. So let's start with yours truly. Like I've said or mentioned, I do work online as a content writer or copywriter, and I have been doing that for a very long time. Like I started in 2015, first as a transcriber, then content writer. But just know that I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've shared a couple of times how much money I make in a week, in a month, and how much I charge for every article that I do. So I'm going to leave a screenshot here just to give you a rough idea how much money I make as a content writer here in Kenya, okay? But again, remember I've said I've been working online for a very long time. So in case you're just getting started, it might be good for you to manage your expectations, because how much I'm charging at the moment is not likely what you're going to charge if you're just getting started, okay? So here's the screenshot. You can see how much I make in a month, roughly, how much I make in a week, roughly. And let me just talk a bit about how much I charge for every article. Personally, I charge per word, meaning if the client gives me a project, a 1,000 word article, I'm going to charge for every single word. And again, just to mention, I love charging in a range. I'll charge some clients 5 shillings, others I'll charge 10 shillings, depending on how complex the project is. If it's a simple project, I would charge something like $0.05 per word, meaning if it's a 1,000 word article, the client would pay me something like $45 or $50, depending on what we agreed on. Let's talk about payment models just a bit, because I think that it's very important, okay? So some clients are going to pay you based on the project, others are going to pay you on an hourly basis, and others are going to pay you per word like my clients do. So if a client is paying you per word, like I've explained, they're going to pay you for each single word that you're writing, okay? I think I've explained that when I was explaining how I earn. Some clients will pay you per hour, meaning they're going to pay you for every hour that you've spent working on their project. If they gave you an article, let's say a 1,000 word article, and maybe you spend like 2 hours on that project, they're going to pay you for your 2 hours worth of time. So let's say your hourly rate is like 1,000 shillings or $10. So meaning if you spend 2 hours on that project, they're going to pay you $20. You get it? And for that to happen, you guys must have agreed. And some clients will want you to use a tracking system just to make sure that you spent the exact amount of hours that you're quoting, okay? And lastly, we have per project. I personally wouldn't do this unless the client is paying me very well, or maybe I'm an employee of their company. In that case, the client will maybe say, Olivia, we have like 10 articles that we would want you to write in a month, and we are going to pay you something like $200 for the articles every month. So it's like you are a paid employee in the sense that you're working on the project and you're paid every end month. I would highly encourage you to go with the word or hourly payment system, because those ones I believe compensate better. But again, it's up to you and your client to agree upon what works for all of you. I think I've talked too much, so let's just get started and see how much content writers and copywriters make in Kenya. Our first guy is Marijan, and you can see that he charges $65 an hour, and his niches, or basically the areas that he has specialized in, are ghostwriting, product description, and SEO writing. Next, we have Kevin. Kevin charges $35 an hour, and his niches are business writing, cryptocurrency, and financial writing. Then we have Joyce, and she charges $40 an hour, and her niches are home garden, academic writing, creative writing. We have Japheth. He charges $50 an hour, and you can see his niches. We have Sharon. She charges $40 an hour, and you can just see her niches again. We have Kipko H. He charges $50 an hour. We have Angela. She charges $40 an hour. We have Florence. She charges $40 an hour. And there's something that I want you to pay attention to. These writers are hired because when you look right under their name, you can see their ratings, the stars. Like this one, Florence, is 4.9 out of 5 stars, and she's done 21 jobs, meaning the clients have paid her $40 for every project that she's worked on. So this is not just an amount, it is something that they are paid to write. Okay, now Gat Koth, I hope I'm not butchering his name, charges $45 an hour. We have Judy, charges $70 an hour. We have Valentine, she charges $50 an hour. We have Newton, charges $58 an hour. We have Stella, charges $40 an hour. We have Farah, charges $38 an hour. I think now you're getting the gist of how much money you can charge an hour as a content writer or as a copywriter in Kenya and in Africa. Like, it's a lot of money if you ask me. Okay, we have Abigail charging $50 an hour. Hillary charging $35 an hour. But again, we have some outliers who charge less. Like you can see here, we have Peter. He charges $7 an hour. If you ask me, you're literally underselling yourself if you charge $7 an hour. And you can see Peter has 4.8 stars out of 5, and he has worked on 145 jobs. Those are a lot. People love cheap writers, but that does not mean that you need to settle for a cheap client. And why I'm saying that is, let's find somebody who charges more and they've worked on many projects. Like Joyce, she has 5 out of 5 star rating, and she's worked on 72 jobs, and she charges $40 an hour. We also have Stella. She has done 92 jobs with 4.9 out of 5 star rating, and she charges $40 an hour. So you can see that you don't have to undercharge for you to get work. You can still charge what you're worth, and you'll still get high paying clients who pay you very well, enough for you to be able to pay your rent, to pay your bills, and to have some to save. Like, girls gotta save, right? So yeah, I think this gives you a rough idea how much money you can make as a content writer. And by the way, this is just Upwork. We have several other platforms that you can use to get content writing jobs. You can use accounts. I think I've talked about accounts, and you've seen that I've worked with Vablio, and Vablio paid me, like, it used to pay me a lot of money. For every 1,000 words, they would pay me $57, and for every 2,000 words, they would pay me $140. So imagine if you worked on 2 articles a day, 2,000 words articles in a day. That would be like $280 in a day. Guys, that's a lot of money. So besides accounts, you can also decide to pitch, in the sense that now you're reaching out to clients directly. And if you're doing that, again, you have the freedom to quote however much you want them to pay you. And remember, like I mentioned, most of these clients are American clients, they are UK clients, and they're used to paying top dollar. Like, they're used to paying people a lot of money. So if you quote a lot of money, like let's say something like $70 an hour, most of them won't be surprised. Like, they'll happily pay you that. So I'm hoping that now you have a rough idea how much money you can make as a content writer in Kenya, as a content writer in Africa. In the next video, I'm going to talk about how much money you can make as a virtual assistant in Kenya and in Africa. Before I let you go, I would love us to go through a series of frequently asked questions, which are questions that most beginners, people like you, ask. And I'm hoping that if I didn't answer your question during the video, this FAQ session, a brief session, is going to address that. So the first question that most people ask is, how much should I charge as a content writer? So this one varies. It varies from place to place. It varies based on niche. It varies based on your experience, expertise, and confidence. But in a nutshell, what I always advise content writers is charge accordingly. Like, take time to analyze how much time you're spending on the work, how much experience you're pouring into it, and charge accordingly. The second FAQ is, how much do content writers cost? This one varies as well. You're going to notice that when it comes to pricing, nothing is set on stone. Like you'll notice again that our American, Australian, Canadian, UK counterparts always charge more. I think that's because of maybe the cost of living, minimum wage and whatnot. So Kenyan freelancers, African freelancers usually, not at all times, usually charge slightly lower. But if I were to give you a definite answer, then I would give you a range, and that is between $15 and $150 an hour. And again, like I said, that varies based on a range of factors. So if you're just getting started, anything between $10 to $30 an hour should be a good start. The next question is, how much should I charge for writing 1,000 words? So if you're just getting started, like you are a beginner, you can charge a range of between $0.02 to $0.05 for every word that you write. Meaning if you do a 1,000 word article, that should be $20 to $50. Like that's a very good place to start as a beginner. But if you are a seasoned writer, then you want to charge a bit more, and that could be something between $30 for 1,000 words to $100 for 1,000 words, or even more. The next question is, how much do beginner freelance writers charge? I think I've explained that. And again, I've just said 0.02 to 0.05, but if you're very good at what you do, then you can charge more. Okay. Somebody else is saying, what is the salary of a content writer in Upwork? I think we've answered that. You've seen people citing their hourly rates, so that should be a good place to start. The last question that somebody is asking is, can I make a living working online as a content writer? And the answer is a resounding yes. I do work online as a content writer, and I've been doing so for the last almost 10 years. And I can tell you for a fact, there's no single month that has gone by without me earning as a content writer. So yes, it's a very good skill, a very good career path to take on. Something else before I forget, usually when you are pitching clients, they're going to ask you like, so how much are you charging, or what are your rates? That's a question that you should expect as a content writer who is trying to pitch for work. So some people quote prices, but as my students, this is what I want you to do. Instead of saying I charge $20 for 500 words, I charge this for that, try quoting a range. Instead of $20, say something like I charge between $20 and $50. That way you have at least some wiggle room. And one thing that has worked for me is I never even quote. So if a client asks me for my rate, I never quote. What I do instead is I always ask them for their budget. So if the client is like, Olivia, how much do you charge for this? I ask them, so what is your budget for the project? And to my surprise, like for the most part, clients always surprise me and they give me a very good figure. Like most recently, there's this person who wanted me to do something very simple, and I wanted to quote like, if I tell you, you won't believe it. I wanted to quote $50, and when I asked the client for their budget, they told me $700. So imagine if I would have quoted for $50 or $100, how much money would I have left on the table? So if you're really good at it, try asking for the budget, but if you want to play safe, then give them a range. In the meantime, you can check out my other videos to learn how to make money online. Bye for now, and I'll catch you in the next one.